mother to the eldest great-grandchild, and Lola to her two great-great-grandchildren. Grandma was very special. I have never known anyone quite like her. She was tough, unfiltered, critical. She could drive you to madness, so much so that you would want to give her the silent treatment, which I did at 8 years old. I'm not proud of it, but her words cut so deep sometimes, it was very hard to shake it off. But there was that other side to Grandma, the one that showed her love, not necessarily through her words, but in many other ways and during the stages of my life. When I was young, I was around Grandma a lot. I practically grew up in the ballet studio where I would sit beside Grandma as she accompanied Mom and the dancers on the piano. I would help her turn the page of the piano piece, help take attendance, or write out receipts when students paid. She made me feel useful and helpful. And when it was my turn to dance, I could feel her eyes on me, and I knew she enjoyed watching me. I felt her love. I learned how to play mahjong when I was 7 years old. True, that's true. And every Sunday, we would go to 10th Street, and there would be Grandma's mahjong quorum with her sisters, Tita Nellie, and Tita Minnie, and cousin Tita Lily. And I loved sitting beside Grandma, who would let me make her wall, and even let me play when she was minamalas to change her lock. And she never shooed me away or made me feel like a nuisance. I felt her love during that time. When I was 17, I started teaching ballet. And Grandma would always accompany me on the piano. I remember being so nervous in the beginning, but ironically, she made me feel calm. And then she would say, "You're a very good teacher." I felt her love. In 1987, we moved to Virginia, and that's when I met and started dating my husband, Eddie. He lived and worked in Connecticut, which was a 7-hour drive from Virginia. Eddie would make the drive to visit me whenever he could. My parents were so strict that I had to ask permission 2 weeks before to go on a date with him. They would make me pull weeds in the yard or do other chores before they would allow me. I was never allowed to call him on the phone because girls don't call boys. And he was never invited to stay for lunch or dinner at our house. So Eddie would literally make that long drive to see me for just a few hours to be together. Grandma was still very present in my life because she would come and stay with us quite often. So one day when Eddie invited me to Connecticut for a Connecticut for a summer barbecue. By some miracle, my parents allowed me to go with one catch: that Grandma come with me. And so Grandma drove with me to Connecticut, where I met all of Eddie's friends for the first time. I'm sure that rarely happened to have your grandma chaperone you, and it was not embarrassing at all. No, yes, it really was super embarrassing. I was 19 by then. After the barbecue, we drove to New Jersey to stay the night with my Tita Noni and my Tita Mary Jo. Eddie had planned to drive down and visit me that weekend, so he convoyed with us and was invited to stay the night. I fully expected to sleep with Grandma and that Eddie would sleep outside on the couch. But then Grandma says, "Ronna, sleep outside. You, Eddie, you sleep with me. And that, I'm sure, never happens to anybody. Then, at the young age of 20, after never having lived outside of home, I got married and moved hundreds of miles away for the first time in my life. I still remember saying goodbye to my mommy with grandma by her side, and the two of them watching Eddie and me drive away. Mommy told me she was crying and worrying, but then grandma told her, "Don't worry, Eddie is a good man and he will take care of Ronna." I felt her love. In 2002, I became the choreographer for the musical productions at my kids' school. The first musical I did was The King and I was so excited to call Grandma from the stage to tell her the news. So I go, "Grandma, I'm going to be the choreographer for our school play, The King and I." And Grandma replies, "Who do you think you are? Your mother?" From the Philippines, Grandma helped design, coordinate, sewing the costumes, and then she flew all the way to St. Louis to bring 2 maletas of costumes for me. Grandma was there to watch my show. She was all smiles and talked about it all evening. I felt her love so much. Grandma, thank you for supporting me, for lifting me up, encouraging me, for loving me, and for everything you did for me throughout my life. I love being by your side growing up, and I know from up above you will still be by my side. I love you. I love you, Grandma.